Welcome back, brothers and sisters of Christ. My name is Brianna and I'm back with another video. For today's video is stop comparing. Everyone's journey is different. Focus on your relationship with God. I'm not too sure what I'm going to title it, but it falls into all of those lines. So we have to understand that every single person's journey is different. Everybody's journey will not be the same. You know, you may share similarities in your journeys with other people, but at the end of the day, we all have our own unique individual journey and relationship with God. And because we have our own individual relationship with God and our own individual experiences with Him, that's what makes it so special. That's what makes it so intimate. That's what makes it so unique and personal. And with that being said, stop comparing your journey with others and feeling like you have to do what someone else is doing on their journey. You know, stop feeling like your journey is not enough or your journey is not valid because you're not doing things that other people are doing on their journey. God loves you regardless. Okay? We have to stop worrying about what the next person is doing on their journey with God and focus on God and seek what is it that God wants next for you on your journey. You know, because I've been seeing a lot of videos and comments, and the commenters will be agreeing, but I've been seeing a lot of people making like videos, you know, basically, as we know, there are a lot of people, young people, that begin to come to Christ, which is a beautiful, great thing. I absolutely love to see it. And, you know, they vlog and they show their relationship with God and different stuff like that, their everyday life and how they implement God in it. Just life as a Christian, you know, Christian vlogs, Christian content creation and stuff. And I've been seeing people saying how they feel like they need to do what those content creators are doing when it comes to their journey and their walk with Christ in order to feel like they're doing things the right way, I guess. You know, like, for an example, like reading your Bible for X amount of times, like they would share, like, I read my Bible 3 times a day for 5 hours. I read so and so amount of chapters, just different little things that they do in their journey. And just different stuff, you know, like, I don't do this, I don't watch this, or I do that, you know what I mean? And people they're taking that information that other people are doing on their journey, and if they are not doing the same things that they hear that other people are doing on their journey, it makes them feel insignificant. It makes them feel like less than, like they're not doing enough. So a lot of people have not been liking the fact that people are sharing their journey and what they do in their journey. And while it's okay to pick up good habits from others on their journey, we cannot start focusing too much on others' relationship with Christ. Like, personally, me, I love to see other people, what they do in their relationships, because like I said, I watch a lot of Christian content creators and it helped me so much on my journey, and I picked up a lot of great habits from them. So I personally appreciate the Christian content creation, but I know how to separate. I don't compare my relationship with God to other people's. Because I you know, I feel like we have to come to a point that we built our relationship so strong with the Lord that you're confident in your relationship with God. And we have to understand that everything is not going to be the same, you know. So when you build your relationship up with the Lord and you're confident, when you see other people and hear other people's experiences and what they do, it won't bother you. You know, it's just like, oh, they do that. You know, you might think like, I want to pick that up, or you may be like, that's not for me. You know what I mean? And that's okay. Everything that people are doing on their journey with Christ does not have to be for you. And because you're not doing it, doesn't make it seem like you're a less than Christian, you know, or that you're doing something wrong. You know, we cannot focus on other people's relationships and what they're doing with Christ. And that's why it's so important to build your own relationship with Christ. Because when you build your own relationship with Christ, He's going to direct you on what you need to do. You know, from some of the stuff in the comments I've seen, people feel insecure in their relationship with God, and if they're not doing certain things that someone else is doing. You know, the thing is, you don't have to do what everybody else is doing. What works for you in your relationship with God works for you, and what works for them works for them. You know, you have to build your confidence in this area, because I noticed, like, anytime you say you do certain things in your journey or that you don't do certain things on your journey, people instantly feel like defensive or insecure if it's something that they are doing or not doing. You know what I'm saying? And so my advice is to pray for confidence. You know, in this area. So your relationship and confidence with God will be so strong that you don't care what nobody else is doing on their journey, and you won't be feeling insecure because you know where you stand with the Lord, and you know what you do in your relationship with him works for you. Like when you see somebody doing something on their journey, because yeah, like you're trying to implement things that's not for you, because a lot of people were saying like they would try to implement certain things that the Christian content creators were doing and they felt overwhelmed because it's not something that is for them to do. You know what I mean? Like they're just doing it because they don't want to feel less than. They're just doing it because they see someone else doing it, but it may not be for them. You know, you're trying to keep up with everybody else is doing on their journey, and you gonna bend done draw yourself crazy. You know what I'm saying? Or you gonna been done pushed away from God because you're like overwhelmed. And that's why we have to let God lead us, because he knows what we can handle. He knows what we can take in. You know what I'm saying? He knows what's too much, and he knows what's gonna work for each individual. You know, while you can pick things up for others, it's best to let God to lead your relationship in some, you know, some instances. Because another thing is our timing is different from others. So God may be calling them to not do certain things or to do certain things that works for them, but it may not work for you. You know what I'm saying? We are in different seasons in our life as well. This person may be preparing for a ministry or something, so they may have to be in their word more than you. But you're looking at them and you're like, I need to read my word 5 times a day for 5 hours because that's what they're doing, you know, in order to feel secure in my relationship. No, because that's not the path and the journey you're on. You know, it's important to read your word, don't get me wrong, but it may be a reason why they are doing the things that they're doing and on the path that they're going. You know, God is calling them in a different area than you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, God may be calling them to do, you know, it's just different. So some people read their Bible every single day. Some people read it a few times a week. Both is fine. You know, just try to get the word in as much as possible. Let it flow. Don't try to follow others' routine, because that's another way that you can fall into like a routine and it just starts to feel unnatural. Because you're like trying to follow a step-by-step guide. There's no guide to this, baby. Don't get me wrong. There's things that we must do, like, you know, pray and read our word, but there's no guide to how many times you got to pray. There's no guide how many times you got to read your word. So we can't be basing our journey on other people's journey and what they're doing and how many times they're doing it. You know, it's their routine, not yours. So you have to start your own routine so that you don't feel like you're trying to keep up with someone just to keep up, you know, just keep up with yourself, you know. Another one I heard is that people are getting mad when they think people are making Christianity look easy. First of all, people are not obligated to show everything that they go through during this walk. We don't know what they go through behind closed door. Would it be helpful to others? Yes. But are you obligated? No. And I just feel like we shouldn't be mad because we don't know other people's hardships and struggles. You know, they don't have to show that part of their life. Everybody's not that vulnerable. Everybody's not at a state, you know, and I don't think that they're trying to make Christianity look easy. But I do feel like, for one, it's, you know, it makes people think like, oh, I can do this. You know, I think it would bring people into like, I can do this, you know. But I understand people saying like it's making it seem like it's not realistic. But that's another thing we have to take into, like, it falls into the lines of you cannot look at other people's life and think that's exactly how it's going to be for you. This is social media at the end of the day. So when we look at these things, we know it's content. That doesn't mean that it's fake, but that does mean that, okay, I don't know what this person's doing in their everyday life, their day-to-day life. So this looks good, but I know for me, you know, it may be different. Like, we have to understand that things for us will be different than what we see. You know, I don't think they're trying to make it look easy. But secondly, their journey actually could be easy. You know, we all go through things, sure, but some people go through more than others. You know, and it's all about how you endure and look at your hardships, because some people face hardships with a smile on their face. You know, they don't dwell on it. So it may be easy to them, because also some people's life before Christ was way more harder than it is with Christ. So they find it easy to follow Christ. So for them, it may come easy. It may be easy. Like, this is easy for me. You know, I'd rather follow Christ any day because of the life that I came from. You know what I'm saying? Like, Christianity is not hard for everybody. I'm not going to lie. Following Christ is not hard for everybody. We go through hardships, but it's not necessarily like hard for everybody, you know? And, you know, I don't think that we should be mad because other people's journey is easy for them. You know, it's a bit strange to me to to be upset about how people go about their journey, and if they feel like their journey is easy or what they're doing on their journey, you know what I'm saying? You know, another thing I also notice is that people will get mad that you don't sin the same as them. And by that, I mean participating in like a particular sin that they're participating in. Not that you don't sin at all, but if you don't sin the same as them. You know, it seems to make people feel like better about themselves in the sins that they're doing if others are also doing that sin or in agreement with that sin. And when you don't, you know, agree, or if you're not indulging into that sin, people get upset and assume that you're judging them or thinking you're better than them. And the thing is, everybody won't struggle with the same stuff and sins, and that's okay as well. You know, some people may have passed that part of their journey. That may be something that they have struggled with in the past, but they overcame it. But there is, you know, there's also other things that they're dealing with now at this point in their life, you know, or struggle with. But people do not have to sin the same as you. And just because they don't sin the same as you doesn't mean that they're looking down upon you. That's another thing that we have to understand in this journey, like, that people will not sin the same as you, and that is okay. That does not make you less than, because we all sin, we all have something we're struggling with. It doesn't make you a less than Christian if you're sinning with, if somebody is not doing the sin that you're doing. It doesn't say in the word that certain sins make you less than. So we have to stop thinking like that. You know, we're different people with our own stories, our own struggles, our own relationship with God. And we need to stop worrying about what the next person is doing on their journey, whether it's good or bad, and stop allowing it to negatively affect our journey and our relationship with God. You know, you're so busy worried about and focused about the next person's journey that you done got knocked off your cue with your relationship with God and your journey. While you're putting all that energy into focusing on the next person's journey, you're slipping further away from God, when you can be using and putting and investing that energy into the Lord and his word. You know, stop being so bothered about what other people do on their journey. So long story short, everybody needs to worry about themselves in this area, you know, and focus on God. You know, everybody needs to worry about their own relationship with God and focus on God. And stop thinking that everything is a negative attack. Like, stop comparing your relationship and build your confidence up. Because I'm telling you, when you have confidence in your relationship with God, none of that stuff bothers you. Even if somebody had an amazing experience that you never had, it's just like, oh, I ain't ever had that happen to me before. I'm trying to see that, you know what I mean? Like, you happy for, like, everybody is like evaluating, I notice, everybody's relationship with God and the experiences they're having and what sins they don't do, and it's like, a lot of people are like, yeah, they're comparing, and a lot of people are also competing, and it's just like, that's not good to do. The best thing to do is keep your eyes on the Lord. Build your faith stronger, build your relationship stronger, build your confidence stronger. Pray about it if you have to, because this is obviously something that I've seen that a lot of people struggle with. So I just think that people need to build their relationship stronger with the Lord, because I just feel like you would have that. You should have that confidence in your relationship that what other people was doing do not bother you and make you feel less than, you know, or make you feel like you're not a good enough Christian, you know. So just talk to the Lord about it. But if this word is not for you, it's for somebody else. Remember, I'm telling y'all this because I love y'all. God bless.